Hafaday and good evening. It's the 8 o'clock hour and the polls are now closed. Precinct officials will begin the process of securing the ballot boxes and transporting them to Election Central at the University of Guam. As we wait for the tabulations to begin, we've got the tabulations from the University of Guam student exit poll. The results are only for the congressional race and the election for public auditor. And starting with the exit poll results from the congressional race, we have Democrat Madeleine Bordallo with 71% and Tony Babauta with 29%. As for the Republican ticket, Felix Camacho at 70% and Margaret Metcalfe with 30%. And for the public auditor race, Doris, Flores Brooks, 63%. Dr. Doreen CRISOSTOMO taking in 28%, and Zenaida ASUNCION at 9%. To break down the numbers with me is the political analyst Ron McNinch and UOG professor Dr. John Rivera. Again, both of them are UOG professors. Thank you both for joining me. So let's break down the numbers. What do we find? Again, this is straight off the press, or as I saw them tallying the votes right now. It's just fresh numbers.
Yeah, we just calculated this right outside just a couple of minutes ago. So, very good data.
How confident are we in this exit poll?
Well, I think we were talking that this is a landslide proportion. It's a 2-to-1 on both sides. For the congressional, for the public auditor, they're going to run off, and that's a bit of a different race. But for the party race for congressional, definitely it's a 2-to-1 on both sides.
And how many people were we polling?
I think 500.
We had about 550.
Yeah.
Is that a good poll number?
It's a good solid sample.
sample.
We had several sites. We talked to lots of people. Sure, it's a good solid number. We think it's definitely within 5 points plus or minus. We think.
Ron, you don't even look surprised. I think you've been calling the congressional race for a while now. Any comments on that?
Well, you can never tell. You can always be surprised, and you never know. This is a poll, and of course, the counting of the votes is what matters the most, and that's the important part. And the exit polls are kind of fun, but certainly all the candidates ran very good races. Madeleine Bordallo is very difficult to run against. She's an icon, and Tony Babauta gave a good, strong effort against her, a positive effort, and Margaret Metcalfe versus Felix Camacho, former governor, also very good, strong races. And all the candidates participated in our forum at UOG. Dr. Rivera was a major part of that. We had a lot of interesting things going on in this race, and so it's been very positive.
Do you think feelings from that forum kind of affected this exit poll?
I think it was a great opportunity for the candidates themselves to come out and show their positions and have an opportunity to engage the public in that forum. That forum itself was student-driven, so we're very happy about that. Always happy to get the students involved and get the communities involved, because that's kind of what it's about, right? Having everybody a part of the process, getting everybody out there to vote and to have their voices heard.
And let's shift gears to the public auditor race. You were speaking prior to this, and you were talking about that seat was intentionally or initially only supposed to be a 4-year term?
Sure. Initially, it was a 4-year term, and then they extended it, in the middle of the first term. And so initially, it was just supposed to be 4 years at a time, and that's one of the interesting parts about the evolution of the public auditor's position. And public auditor Doris Brooks has done a wonderful job, and she hasn't really had a lot of competition for that position, and now there's active competition. There were 2 very good, very well qualified, viable candidates against public auditor Brooks this time, and they ran good, positive races. But I have to say, there's a big difference between the partisan Democrat-Republican primary and that primary for the nonpartisan seat. You start all over again in the nonpartisan slates. You start at 0 again, and then you check it again. One other quick thing, if you looked at our polling before our forum and the polling we just talked about, that it's a 2-to-1 margin for Congresswoman Bordallo, 2-to-1 margin for Governor Camacho. That's what our numbers showed before the forum. The forum really just helped people to understand the candidates better and have a better attachment of feelings for them. It didn't really change the outcomes in our view, I think.
And what can you say about Guam's voting behavior?
It's great. Guam, it's like a sport.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
You know, what are candidates, or is there a certain behavior that they have? You were saying that prior to this interview that people kind of get attached to somebody or connected. If we connect, then I might vote for you. Is that?
Sure. If you feel you know a person.
Absolutely. Right, and I think Guam's small community almost invites that kind of behavior, right? Because we live in a community that's tight-knit. People are connected through family, through networks, through social networks. And so that plays an important part in how people behave with regard to voting. And it should, because here if we're connected to somebody, and that's what we do, right? When we find somebody, the first thing we try to do is make that connection. So obviously, you know, it's an important part of it. We need to be able to reach out to our candidates. And I think that's something that's very important when we talk to when I talk to students in the graduate school level, some that come from off island, that's kind of one of the things they say is that back in the political processes in the United States, they're so far away from their candidates and they have to vie for their attention. Here, it's such a great thing to be able to engage with them. They come, you meet with them face to face, you have those opportunities to kind of sit down and talk to them at that personal level. So I think it does have a profound impact and people are able to make those connections a lot more strong.
Thanks so much, guys. And thank you for your time. Gentlemen, you can read the results on our webpage. And for up-to-date election results, check us out on KUAM.com or any of our social media platforms. You'll also want to join us at 11 p.m. for our special D16 program on Facebook Live from Election Central in Manilao. From all of us here at Team KUAM, thanks for watching.